What herbs, plants, or medicinal mushrooms are best to kill pathogenic bacteria in the body?
Pathogenic bacteria in the body can be killed by different herbs, but it really does depend on the type of bacteria. Many of the foodborne bacterias that make people sick that often wind up being mistaken as flu, Salmonella, Campylobacter, Yersinia perfringens, and other bacteria that occur in foods, can be successfully combated with turmeric, with hot chilies, with garlic, with onions. We know this from good science that's been done. But other bacteria may be very, very resistant. So there's, you can't say that this approach will work for all bacteria. It really does depend on the strain. And if somebody has something that's very, very, very serious, potentially life-threatening, they may, for a time, need to utilize some kind of antibiotic. I mean, people in hospitals for whom none of the antibiotics work and who have grave infections, in their case, the only thing that seems to work is vancomycin. And I don't know of a plant that does what that does. So again, I'm not a total pharmaceutical basher. I will choose the natural alternative anytime I can. But sometimes antibiotics can save your life.
What herbs, plants, or medicinal mushrooms are best to help with chronic fatigue or autoimmune diseases?
Chronic fatigue and autoimmune disorders are a little bit different. I mean, chronic fatigue can be the result of any number of things. I had a friend that I took down to the Amazon rainforest to drink ayahuasca, which is a profoundly powerful psychoactive potion that shamans use for healing. It's basically a very intense psychedelic. And he'd had chronic fatigue, gravely so, for 4.5 years. Nothing worked. He'd been through the conventional stuff, the non-conventional, nothing worked. He drank ayahuasca, and after 2 nights of doing that, he had no more chronic fatigue, and that held for 12 years. He actually had to go back recently for a booster because he started to feel chronic fatigue again. It was probably due to psycho-emotional factors in his case. For other people, it could be due to allergies. For other people, it could be due to compromised immune system. You mentioned autoimmune disorders where the immune system is functioning too high. For that, as far as I know, the very best natural remedy, and maybe the very best remedy, period, is cat's claw, Oncaria tomentosa, which is an inner vine from the Amazon, which has been extensively well studied. It's the most popularly employed medicine really in the Amazon. And that's what I would recommend. I would recommend cat's claw.
What herbs, plants, or medicinal mushrooms are best to help you heal from cancer?
When people have had cancer, and especially if they've undergone chemotherapy, it appears that one of the very best things they can do is take reishi mushrooms. Reishi, which is Ganoderma lucidum, is very good for bringing people's vitality back up. I know of some cancer specialists who've worked with people following chemotherapeutic intervention with reishi mushroom with good success. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a big one. But also if you're generally fatigued because you've gone through this debilitating procedure, then the predictable adaptogenic herbs, Panax ginseng, schisandra berry, ashwagandha root, rhodiola root, can also be very, very helpful for bringing your vitality back up.
What herbs, plants, or medicinal mushrooms are best for women going through menopause?
For women going through menopause, we know that maca can be very helpful for reducing uncomfortable symptoms of menopause, especially hot flashes and night sweats. We know that to be so. We also know similar benefits with women from taking ashwagandha root. Some women get some benefit from black cohosh, and there is a clinically tested brand called Remifemin, which has gotten pretty good results. There are some studies that show that a red clover extract can also be helpful. But I would look primarily at the first herbs that I mentioned.
How do you avoid Lyme disease while spending so much time in the woods?
It's hard to avoid insect-borne diseases. I mean, I've gotten malaria, I've gotten all kinds of really nasty tropical diseases because I'm in the tropics a lot and I'm in forests a lot. How you avoid Lyme disease, if you're going to walk in the woods, if you're going to be in a field, is afterwards you have to either look or have somebody look at your entire body. I recently had a very deep hike in very remote Amazon forest with some native people, and when I came out, they had me stripped down to the waist and fastidiously picked off about 60 microscopic little ticks from my body, all over my body from that particular place. So sometimes it's just a matter of close inspection. That may be what you just have to do.